What's up, everybody? We are back. John Delarose here, the leading Hispanic voice in science fiction, with the final volume of the Superman Death and Return of Superman, paperbacks, which all comprise, there's an omnibus form of this also. And this is volume 5. The volumes do link together and form like an S. I don't have all of them on me right now, but I'll show you the 4 and 5. So you get this nice little like bloody S that forms on the spines here, which is kind of nice. I love the layout, really done well. This one's shorter than the last volume. It only contains a few different things, and they kind of take place after the effect. I'm not sure, I think it's a year or two after when these start to come on. There's a Doomsday Annual, Superman Doomsday War, and Superman Doomsday Hunter Prey. Both these miniseries, the issues are a longer, oversized series with like 40 pagers per issue. And part of what was, I guess, the only unresolved element, really, of the Superman Death of saga was like, who's Doomsday and why was he doing this and why does he matter? And this answers that. So this Superman Doomsday goes through Doomsday's origin, and you find out who he is at this point. So you understand the character, and it brings a lot of depth to the character. So I'll go over it as I go through it. The cover in here is weird. I don't like the coloring at all. So this was a very stark way to start it. But we get a lot of like Clark Kent in the past. Now he's afraid, and then he's talking in the future. He's talking about Doomsday, and he's afraid of it. But he knows he's out there somewhere, so he has to do something about Doomsday. And Doomsday gets brought in by some space miners, and Clark goes to kind of hunt him down. And there's Darkseid, and Doomsday shows up on Darkseid's planet. Oh my gosh! Oh no! And Doomsday has a big threat, wrecks Darkseid. Now, Superman teams up with these time travelers over the course of the book. At first, they do the whole, like, we are just the Watchers, we do not interfere sort of deal in here. And as you can see, the art and coloring is a lot better on the interiors than it was on that cover. So it was just that one cover that's really a stark difference compared to everything. And we go to Darkseid's world, Apocalypse, and this is Cyborg Superman with a new body, and he's trying to control Doomsday now to get revenge on Superman. And so we have a lot of villains all come together. And here we go. We're back to the covers again. And again, get with the weird coloring. It really doesn't work very well. Don't know what was going on with these covers. And you can't see it here, but the text is really fuzzy in here. In reality, I don't know maybe a bad scan or something like that makes it stark. So we go through. Superman is, he's going to be super, and he's going to help save Apocalypse in the world. And we get this. Now we get the backstory of Doomsday's origin. And Doomsday grew up on this planet, and we get told about this. And he was designed to be like the evolved, cannot kill ultimate weapon. And they designed him after throwing out several babies. I mean, they show that it was just a monstrous way they treated, and this is why Doomsday is the way he is at this point. The planet that got rid of him at that point then wrapped him up and then just shot him out into space, and that's how he ended up on Earth at some point. And so that Superman takes that information, and he kind of teams up with Darkseid here. At least that he's going to help him, even though he doesn't like Darkseid, obviously. And he stops Cyborg Superman from his evil plans at this point, but he's still got to face Doomsday again, and he's scared like a little child. All right, this is the worst of the 3 covers. This I really don't know if you can see this that well, but it is extremely grainy on the fonts here on these covers. I don't know what the deal is. Bothers me. And here we go. Our super team's now going out to fight Superman, and it turns out there was this like energy being, or not Superman, Doomsday. This energy being was the thing that stopped Doomsday in the past, and so now Superman can't use that because he's already adapted to it. And we get a Deus Ex Machina where these guys, who are those Watchers, show up, open this like kind of wrinkle in time into this like weird anti-universe thing, and they just kind of drop off Doomsday there, and that's how they win. Now, the big twist in here is Superman learns that the planet where Doomsday grew up was actually Krypton. The scientists were actually Kryptonian, yay. And so it further ties him into the mythos, makes these stories mean so much more, and really well done. This is kind of all you needed to wrap it up, to be honest. I was pretty thrilled to read this, and then after this point, don't love it as much, I'll be honest. The Doomsday Annual is completely unnecessary. It is Superman shows up at a site where Doomsday destroyed or came out of, and then they talk about like these Doomsday stories about his past and how Doomsday met Darkseid the first time and how Doomsday did this and Doomsday was bad and destroyed these planets. And I just don't care, to be honest. It was tough. He met the Green Lanterns at one point. They're all short stories, and then they all kind of like have the same theme. And then Superman kind of like is like, well, you know, that's why we have to fight together, you know, at the end of that. Meh. Totally skippable material. Didn't really add that much to the series. Finally, we have one more miniseries, which is the Doomsday Wars. And Clark remembers his past in Smallville, where he, you know, was barely surviving certain things. And then we have Superman fighting Brainiac. And Brainiac disappears, and we think he's gone for a second. I don't know. I don't love the art on this miniseries so much compared to the others. The background, I don't know if it's the same artist, but when it's in the snow in the past, it comes across a little better. And Superman's got a crisis that he deals with in present time with Lana Lang. She's having a baby, and she's got some major problem, and she wants Superman to help bring her to a better hospital or something like that. And guess what? Doomsday's back. I think it's the coloring that throws me off. The coloring really in this, now it's the art too. Look at that neck. It's a weird neck. It's like Plastic Man neck to the side, but with gritty teeth woman face. And you notice like how she's got like a square face, not an ovally face. It actually makes her look more masculine than she should. And the neck detail doesn't help that, of course. I don't know. Ugly drawing. Okay. Anyway, yeah, the coloring doesn't help either, to be I mean, Doomsday looks like a cartoon in this one, so he doesn't actually feel all that threatening. It's a very wrong feel for him. And that's all due to the coloring. Because he's got like a Hulk look here from this being drawn. But the coloring really just makes him not threatening looking. And then Martian Manhunter's coloring is so over the top puke green, it just doesn't work. And look at the shading here. You can see where the gradients actually take place. A pretty rough early digital coloring stuff. So Superman's back, or Doomsday's come back, and Brainiac's actually taken over his body is what's going on. And Doomsday hasn't dealt with that before. And again, we get this weird scan of these covers where the lettering is just faded in a weird way. I don't know what, it's only the covers that do this too. Superman's trying to get the baby to safety and deal with Doomsday Brainiac combo. And the superheroes try to stop him. They can't. Superman's getting blamed on the fault of the baby's father. And so it just is like, it's a pretty tense story. It's pretty good. But it's really just like a secondary story that's not so much involved with this stuff. You know, it's another return of Doomsday. And the problem is with these characters, and this happens in comics all the time. Your first issue, you've got Doomsday kills Superman, right? So Doomsday is the biggest, baddest ass dude out there, right? Your second one, well, you're going to defeat Doomsday again. Okay, cool. Well, that worked out pretty good. They escalated the stakes pretty well on that because it was on Darkseid's planet, and there was this big, how is he going to win this time when he couldn't even do it before? And now this time, they've escalated by having Brainiac take over Doomsday, which should make Doomsday even more powerful in some ways because his body's a killing machine, and then he's got a mind now. But, you know, unfortunately, because Superman's defeated Doomsday twice, it takes a lot of the tension out, and that's the problem with the repeat characters coming back and doing the same thing over again. But fortunately, that's it. Clark saves the day, of course, and he saves the baby, of course, too. The important part. And it's an all right story. It's fun enough. The art's not my favorite. The coloring really is tough in this one because it's just a little too cartoony for the content, but it all works out, and there's some more of the cartoony stuff. Justice League gets involved, helps out with the fight, and we are back in Smallville. Everything's wrapped up. Everything's happy. That's the end of Doomsday at the end. So really only that first, the first trade, I want to call it, Doomsday Hunter Prey, was substantial because it added to Doomsday's backstory, and we needed that because we didn't have it. The rest really was not all that exciting. The annual was really tough to get through. Art in the last one just did not match the threat that Doomsday was, so it just kind of made it not all that exciting of a story. The personal stakes really helped out with Lana Lang and the baby, because Doomsday, you know, then got a hold of the baby, of course. You know, things like that. It was okay. You know, that one was an all right deal. Annual was a pass, and the original trilogy was very good. So this is kind of a mixed bag, is what you get in the final volume here, but it's a nice little coda. You can kind of read that first deal and then skip the rest if you really want to and want to move on. But overall, the event was awesome. I had a lot of fun with it. Got a little burnt out on Superman, of course, by Volume 5 also, so there's that in my reading to go along with it on the bias side. But yeah, I'd say this one's kind of like a 6.5 out of 10, so it's just a little below average. I wasn't as much thrilled with it. The 2 volumes before that were just awesome, which also is a tough thing to compare to. But worthwhile all the way through. I love this event. I definitely recommend picking up all of these trades if you can. Glad I got them pretty cheap here. And that's it. The omnibus version of this is out of print again. So they've actually gone to 2 printings of it, and they've gone out of print twice on it. So it's a very popular storyline. People love to buy this. You get your hands on the omnibus cheap, definitely pick that up, because they're probably not going to print that again anytime soon. So you might want to grab that now. That's it. Hit your like and subscribe buttons if you enjoy the reviews. Been doing a ton of DC stuff lately. Are you happy, DC people? Because I'm usually Marvel only with these Epic collections. So let me know if you like the DC reviews also. I love going through the random stuff. I like taking a break and doing different things. So I'll talk to you guys soon.